The year 2010 has been designated by the United Nations system as the International Year of Biological Diversity. The Convention on Biological Diversity, or CBD, has set in 2002 the ambitious target of reducing the rate of biodiversity loss by 2010. A number of indicators of biological diversity were created to assess progress towards meeting that target. Why is it important to reduce biodiversity loss? Can the 2010 biodiversity target be reached, and what actions are needed to ensure that it is?
What is the Convention on Biological Diversity and its 2010 biodiversity target?
The Earth Summit in 1992 led to the creation of the Convention on Biological Diversity, or the CBD. Deep concern over the rapid loss of biodiversity and the recognition of its important role in supporting human life led to the adoption in 1992 of the Convention on Biological Diversity. The objectives of this legally binding global treaty are the conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity and a fair sharing of the benefits of the utilization of genetic resources. In 2002, the Conference of the Parties to the Convention agreed to achieve by 2010 a significant reduction of the current rate of biodiversity loss. To assess progress towards that target, it adopted a framework to guide action and identified indicators to assess the status and trends of biodiversity.
What is the role of biodiversity indicators?
The indicators were established to monitor the status and trends of biological diversity and to provide information on ways to improve the effectiveness of biodiversity policies and management programs. These indicators cover 7 focal areas, which include reducing the rate of biodiversity loss, addressing its major threats, promoting its sustainable use, and maintaining ecosystem health. While we still lack comprehensive global-scale measures to assess progress towards the 2010 target, it is possible to describe trends in the status of biodiversity using these indicators.
At what pace is biodiversity being lost?
It is estimated that over the last 50 years, humans have changed ecosystems more rapidly and extensively than in any comparable period of time in human history. For example, the conversion of forests for agricultural and pasture continues at an alarmingly high rate. Similar negative trends have been observed for other ecosystems such as grasslands, savannas, deserts, and freshwater, coastal, and marine ecosystems. The abundance and distribution of selected species together is an indicator of ecosystem quality. Several assessments have revealed that the population size and/or geographic range of the majority of species assessed are declining. Exceptions include domestic species, invasive species, and species that have been protected through specific measures. Over the past few hundred years, it is estimated that humans have been responsible for up to 1,000 times more extinctions than the natural rate. According to the IUCN, or the International Union for Conservation of Nature, Red List of Threatened Species, 1 out of 2 species within well-studied groups, such as amphibians, birds or mammals, it is threatened with extinction and the situation is deteriorating. The genetic diversity of cultivated and domesticated species is of great importance from a human perspective because it allows the species to adapt to changing conditions. It is estimated that 1/3 of all domesticated animal breeds are presently threatened with extinction. For non-cultivated species, genetic diversity is threatened mainly by overexploitation, but also as well as habitat destruction and fragmentation or breakup. Protected areas are crucial to countering the continuing loss of ecosystems and species. They currently cover about 1/8 of the Earth's land surface, but only a small fraction of marine and coastal areas. However, there are substantial differences in coverage among ecological regions, and many types of ecosystems are almost not protected at all.
Are ecosystems healthy enough to provide resources and essential services?
Intense fishing has led to the decline of many species, notably cod and tuna. In the North Atlantic, the populations of large fish have declined by 2/3 in the last 50 years. The preferred fish for human consumption are becoming increasingly rare, forcing a shift to smaller fish and invertebrates, and eventually reducing the overall supply for human consumption. In many terrestrial and inland water ecosystems, human activities lead to the fragmentation or breakup of habitats. The resulting smaller patches of habitat support smaller populations, which as a result become more vulnerable to local extinction. Forest and river systems both show high levels of fragmentation. The quality of inland waters has been affected by pollution, increased sedimentation, climate change, the extraction of fresh water for agricultural and industrial use, human consumption, and physical alterations such as diversion and canalization of water courses. Since the 1980s, river water quality has improved in Europe and the Americas, but it has deteriorated over the same period in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific region. No imperative data is available for the state of Grenada's river quality.
What are the main threats to biodiversity?
The major threats to biodiversity include invasive alien species, climate change, nutrient loading and pollution, habitat change, and overexploitation. The availability and use of fertilizers on a commercial scale contributes to the growing productivity of agriculture. However, nitrogen and phosphorus from those chemicals can have severe impacts on the environment. The human production of nitrogen has increased sharply since 1960. Invasive alien species can have devastating impacts on native species, causing extinctions and affecting natural and cultivated ecosystems. Some invasive alien pests or diseases can entail enormous economic costs. In the recent past, the rate and risk associated with the